And there we are. Greetings, greetings. Merry Snapshot Day. It's Uncle V. It is Christmas Day. It is noon. And as promised, I'm live streaming. And if you just joined, look down below. You're going to see a link. You can join this live stream. Would love to have you on. We have two folks in the house, Wolfie and Eric. Eric. Good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Snapshot Day.
Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Thank you so much for your energy and for being this cornerstone part of the Epic community.
Oh, it is my pleasure. My pleasure, Eric. And thank you for being this force of nature behind the scenes. Would you mind if I introduced you and just asked you a few questions?
Looks like his mic
Sorry,
is
I was
off.
trying to be respectful and mute. So yes, please, no problem.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. We just had someone else join us. So everyone who joins, Jim, come on in. Happy to have you. Eric, you live in the crypto capital of the world, right?
Seemingly right now, Miami is the epicenter, and pun intended,
Yes.
of the crypto community.
Yes, and what do you do down there? I think you have a little bit of influence politically down there. Yeah.
I'm a very small player in a large ecosystem, but I'm very fortunate to know some quality folks, and that's allowed me the opportunity to be in some really interesting conversations around crypto and kind of Web3 architecture and development overall, and could not be more bullish on where the future is, where DeFi will ultimately take us, and certainly a huge proponent of what's being built out in the Epicenter ecosystem, and could not be more excited for where we go as we march into 2022, and knowing some of the things that are already in the works and on the drawing board. And God, the best is yet to come with this project. That's certainly the case.
2022 is just going to be amazing. And rumor has it that, well, I'm just going to say it. You're the right-hand man of the mayor of Miami, who has been the proponent of cryptocurrency. And I just love that guy. And I know that you have a lot to do with that. Can you give us just a little bit of backstory on how you kind of arrived in this special place?
Sure. And I'm not sure that that's 100% accurate, but I am certainly fortunate to have some connections with Mayor Suarez, who I admire greatly. His visionary leadership and the idea that he has planted this flag here in Miami and said to the world, I want to be the capital of capital. I want to be the center of DeFi activity. I want to be the center of the metaverse. It's that visionary leadership that I think that we're thirsting for, and it's been received so very, very well. And the idea that he's brought in this year in 2021, close to $1 trillion in capital into Miami, that Miami has led the nation in tech job creations the last 8 quarters in a row. Those stats don't happen by accident. And personally, I grew up in Palo Alto, California. And so I saw that Web 1 kind of explosion where, Palo
Shout
Alto
out to California.
Palo Alto was the home of IBM, and then IBM kind of spurred into Sun Microsystems, and Sun Microsystems, it just blew up from there. I see that happening here. I see that entrepreneurial zest and that thirst to disrupt, but disrupt with care and thought behind it. Not just, hey, we want to blow everything up, but we really believe there's a fundamentally better way. And seeing that conversation take place in one-to-one and now one-to-many, and it's becoming this groundswell in this movement. It's a special time to be here. And so I don't know where the rest of you all are in the world, but if you have the opportunity to make your way down to Miami and see what this
Miami,
blockchain
baby.
community it has going on right now, you should definitely book that flight and ping me when you're down here. I'd love to meet you.
Well, I know there are going to be many of us who are going to be down there for the second Epic conference. That's going to be, these are going to occur every quarter from here on out, every 3 months. And this next one is going to be January 17th and 18th. And perhaps part of the 19th. We're still working out the agenda, but I know that I'll have the pleasure of meeting you then. And Yoga, welcome to the show. I see that you came in. You are now a Miami resident as well. I'm sure you're looking out at a real crappy view this morning of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Biscayne, baby. Looking at the beautiful Biscayne. Yes. No, I love Miami. Eric, I'm also from California, and I just made the move to Miami 3 weeks ago. So not looking back. Super excited to see Miami picking up the baton, if you will, or taking baton away from California, depending on how you want to look at it. But the amount of techno-savvy talent that's moving here is pretty awesome. Looking back, I remember when the founder of Intel was talking about how, success breeds complacency, complacency breeds failure. I think California is falling into that trap where, despite their tremendous success, all that's left there right now is inertia, of that success. I think people are too preoccupied with the wrong things rather than focusing on innovation and mutual prosperity. And to me, that's Miami really picked that up, and from every crypto convention that Los Angeles or San Francisco passed on, and Miami picked it up, to tons of talent that just I got a good friend of mine who fled to Tampa from California, from Napa, and he has a really amazing startup that he brought with him. Nice. So folks are they just, and the caliber of talent that people are able to find here is also building up. So this is to me, this is definitely the new Silicon Valley.
Hashtag FTS. Florida doesn't suck. Everyone, come on down.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, the weather's amazing. The attitude is amazing, and the people are wonderful. So, I do get that little bit of, folks ask me, where'd you come from? And I say, well, from California. And then I have to quickly, annotate, that I'm not one of those Californians that came to change things. I come in peace. I'm a registered NRA member, so.
Excellent. Hey, Vera, wanted to welcome you, dear friend for a long time. So I don't know if you want to come. Yeah, come on.
I'm going to show my face as soon as I get dressed.
Okay. Look,
I'm in LA. Okay. And anything below 70 here, we don't get up till later because it's freezing. Okay.
No, I hear you. Again, Florida doesn't suck. Come on over here. It's the weather's just fine. Eric, if you wouldn't mind coming off mute, I'd love to ask you a couple other questions, if you don't mind. Specifically,
Absolutely.
I'm interested in your crypto journey. How and when did you discover crypto and get knee deep in it? And then I also want to ask a follow-up question on the same on Epic Cash.
So I would say I got toe deep in crypto probably 5 or 6 years ago. I had a lot of friends who did go knee deep or more. And many of those folks are now living down in Dorado in their $20 million beachfront homes and flying their private jets around the world. And that's certainly great for them. But what I saw was this movement grow up around crypto, and it got more and more of my attention. And so I'm a big proponent of whatever you pay for, you pay attention to. And so I started spending some money investing into kind of the web architecture and into crypto companies, not necessarily the token economics.
Yeah.
And that's gotten me more and more in the space. And certainly over the last 2 to 3 years, I found the majority of my time where I would have maybe spent that around tech companies as a macro thesis, more and more micro focused on crypto, blockchain, DeFi, and projects related to that. And then more recently, pushing into the NFT and metaverse space. And specifically, I really believe that NFTs will fundamentally prove out the use case for why blockchain technology is so vitally important. Because this idea of smart contracting and the proof of ownership that it allows for, and to be able to take that proof of ownership, which for my money is the difference between third world and developed nations, to be able to take that to any dark corner of the globe instantaneously with very, very little friction. That's a paradigm shift.
Well, indeed it is. I mean, that's one of the things that I celebrate with Epic Cash, and have really been given this a lot of thought lately, is how it can literally change the world, because it can, for the first time, deliver a mechanism of strong currency to the unbanked. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. And, to answer your second question that you asked just a moment ago, it was an introduction from our mutual friend, Mike Momola. And he had shared the project with me. He had shared, kind of the mad scientist that is the visionary behind this project. And once I had an opportunity to do a bit of a deeper dive, I immediately said, hey, Mike, get me in a room with this person. I really want to meet them. And that meeting, I don't want to romance it, but sparks definitely flew. And ideas just started to germinate very, very quickly. And I'm a big proponent of this concept of never saying no to an idea, but rather saying yes and seeing how you can grow it to be bigger and bigger. And it immediately was able to become crystallized for me that there were so many opportunities to introduce this project to the right people, and take it from where it is today and really make it mainstream. Because to your point, it's going to take this huge swath of people across the globe that are unbanked and give them a better mousetrap, or quite frankly, a mousetrap for the first time. It still boggles my mind that Africa's primary currency is prepaid mobile minutes. And it's not because it's better, it's just because it's a predictable store of value for them. So they're able to conduct, transactions with that. And I see a future, and not that distant a future, where that can be supplanted by what Epic has to offer, and do it in a better way, and really change for everyone. And what we've got coming around minting, that to me too is going to be the opportunity and the inflection point for an adoption curve that you really haven't seen in crypto up to this point.
Yeah. So, in my day job, we have 22 portfolio companies, and each one, and you've heard this, I'm sure, but always has to have an annual BHAG, big hairy ass goal.
Of course.
Is it too big of a BHAG to think that one day Epic Cash can flip in BTC's market cap?
I don't think so, because I think BTC will always have its place. I mean, there's certainly, the maxis in the space and the evangelists for that product. They're not going away. But I do think that there is a thirst for, I look at friction, any type of friction that is created in business and in life, as opportunities for an improvement. And I think Epic really removes a lot of the friction that we currently have. And it does it at a transaction cost that is just incredibly attractive and functional, where, quite frankly, let's be real, BTC and ETH and some of these other projects will be hard pressed to ever be there.
Amen. Well, I have 4 daughters, and I'm a segue here, and I just want to let you know how lazy of an uncle I am, of a father. Instead of Christmas presents, I just asked them this morning to just please open up your Vite wallet. They were very grateful. but
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
the gift that keeps on giving. I'm like, girls, that's going to be a down payment on your house one day. Might even just, you might just want to just pay it all off up front. I don't know, but that is the purpose of today. It is an epic celebration. Sure, it's Christmas, but it's also Happy Snapshot Day. And I'll show you something that just boggles my mind real quick. So I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, this was just a little earlier. And I'm like, who does that on Snapshot Day? Who sells at a discount their Epic Cash? Yoga, I know you were kind of narrating in the chat a little bit. Can you enlighten us on why in the hell would anyone do that?
Well, I would never assume to think why in the hell somebody would do something. So as far as the cause why, I'm not sure. I mean, people, call it the opposite of irrational exuberance, I guess. But I just think it's dumb. I mean, for lack of a better word, that's a very unscientific, way of looking at this. I remember when folks were, dumping Epic at 10 cents, when they were dumping it at 30 cents, when they were dumping it at 50 cents. And the way I look at it is, how do they feel about those decisions today? I know people that dump Bitcoin at $30. I know people that dumped Monero at $6. And so on. So, I mean, there's really never the ability of people to surprise us with horrible decisions is boundless. So, I mean, if somebody wants to sell, they're welcome to sell. The way I look at it is from a slightly different perspective. I think it's pretty cool that they're actually dumping because we're growing every day.
Yeah, that's true.
And those people who are coming into our community, for them to get an opportunity, for them to get an opportunity to get some cheaper Epic, I think it's a really cool opportunity. So whenever there's a sell-off, whenever somebody's selling, I ultimately don't care what their reasoning is. What I look at is, coin transitioning from somebody who believes in it less to somebody who believes in it more.
That's a good way to put it.
And where we've gotten today with our user base and with we have a culture, we have multiple cultures, if you will, around Epic. It strengthens us. So it's kind of a natural organic growth that the process of discovery is happening every day, and the people are investing every day. And of course, somebody's going to sell every day, and God bless them. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm not really attached to the price. I'm not really, but I like the process of wealth transfer that people are. If somebody wants to give up their position, let them give up their position.
Amen.
That's fine and good.
Amen. So somebody asked in the chat, Merry Christmas. I have Epic on Vitex wallet. Will my Epic be included in the snapshot? Absolutely. 100%. All right.
Snapshot laying guys off, but he's got a layoff that's going in his head for about 6 months.
All right. I'm going to mute you, Pete. Sorry. Vera, how are you? Good to see you. Izzy, how are you? Merry Christmas. Happy Snapshot Day. And I see Norsimo is in and want to tell, man, Norsimo, I don't know if you're going to come on screen or not, but you can tell what my family thinks of me. And, this is a Christmas present, bunch of nice cigars. And, yeah. And,
nice.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to keep up with everyone wanting to come in. So yeah, Norsimo, man, you are my one day our little transaction is going to go down in history to where I bought a box of those. Can you explain what those cigars were that you will do a much better job than I will?
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Oh, I want to track back a little bit on what Yoga was saying. Sometimes, for what happened today, I think it may have been a minor. I sometimes do dump. It wasn't me today. But miners, they normally do dump because they see that the difficulty concerning mining Epic goes higher. So they actually use the equity to buy more mining equipment, which later turns out to be even better for the blockchain. Now, I don't believe this is what happened, but that is something that I do sometimes. Sometimes I do dump, and with the equity that I get from that, I get more mining equipment, right?
I
Because
see.
be able to keep up with the difficulty level. Every other month, whatever equipment you have doesn't yield as much, a profit. So you have to add more, and the only way to do that is by using the same profit that you currently have. This is how you keep growing.
I see.
Yeah, man,
That's-
totally. And I totally get that. And, as a miner myself, I mean, I mined crypto for a while, and exactly. I mean, sometimes you do a capital investment, you sell some off because that, hey, I'm going to pick up a couple of cards, especially at today's ludicrous prices.
Yes.
And I'm going to get some mad ROI on that. So that's another way of looking at it. But man, with the difficulties that we're at right now, especially on the CPU, oh my God.
Yeah, no, there's some serious power being put out to the network.
Yeah,
So,
but you're one of those people that's putting out the mad CPU power. So you're still the CPU daddy.
guilty as charged, but it's one of those things, and it's been rewarding. Let me put it to you that way.
Well, we're happy to have you. Now back to the question, the most important question. Tell me about those cigars that I paid, I think it was what, $970 for in Epic. And so we're going to track that. There are 10 cigars or 12 cigars in there. I think 10, right?
10.
And tell everybody what those cigars are.
Well, everybody would know I am an actual cigar aficionado.
Yes, you are.
And visiting my friends at a Christmas party at Smoke Inn in Pompano Beach, the owner came up to me and he presented me a box of Opus X, BBMF Fox cigars, which are released every 3 years. Extremely rare. They're not run of the mill.
Mm-hmm.
Box goes for about $1,000, pretty much $100 cigar.
Right.
They're very extra special. They're aged in cedar and for 3 years, and then they're stored in a bourbon barrel, but not full of bourbon, of course. So it gives it that it's sought after. It's like a rare coin. If you're a coin collector and you're looking for that ultimate Caesar coin, well, this is that. That's the cigar. That's the ticket. So so I bought 2 boxes. And I said, I got a problem.
That's true.
What do I know that I could probably, maybe I could get some Epic for this. So I said, and since I see Uncle Lee there walking around, walking around with the cigar, talking with the cam on one hand, right, and the cigar in the other. I'm like, maybe he would be interested. And so I sent him a picture of it. He says, oh, I don't know. I said, listen, these are really rare. So he was kind of skeptical in the beginning. And then I guess he talked to his buddy.
Yeah, Mr. P, who's also a cigar aficionado. I mean, like you, like a real one. He knows his stuff. And he's like, holy cow, you got to get those.
Exactly. Then 5 minutes later, he's like slamming my Telegram. I want him. And that's it. It's history. I gave you my address to ship them to you, and you were like, no, you're because I was driving back to Tampa from Miami, and you're like, no, you're going to swing through Orlando and properly pick these up. And so it was very nice. Spent a cigar hour. Those cigar hours vary depending upon the cigar, but spent a cigar hour with you and had a really, really nice time. And you and your lovely wife's home. And I have seen your 2 massive humidors. You are indeed a cigar aficionado. It's just like, man, I know I want to be downwind if your house ever catches on fire. Sorry, that I shouldn't have put that in the universe. All right, well, welcome everybody. Merry Christmas.
Izzy is in the house. How are you, man? Merry Christmas. Merry Snapshot Day.
Merry Christmas. It's so cool to see Norsimo's face. He's the legend in the CPU mining community. Hey, man. Yeah, so this is so cool. So in the Casa de Izzy here, we just opened gifts. And Christmas is underway here. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I'm probably going to pop out, but thanks so much for doing this.
You're welcome, and thanks for all that you do, Izzy, for the community. And you too are a legend, and we wouldn't be where we are without you. I know that for sure. So, all right. Well, enjoy your family, your dogs. Stick around as long as you wish.
Yeah, I'll watch it a little bit longer, and just it's so cool to see some new faces in here and to meet the legend, Norsimo. I love you, man. I love what you do. You rock, bro.
He is great.
I feel you too, brother. Thank you.
All right. We have Pete in the house, and Vera, we lost you. We just lost you. If you come back, I think you're fully clothed now. There you are. How are you, Vera?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. Why don't you introduce yourself? Let everybody know a little bit about you and how we met, and you've just been an awesome friend over the last couple of years.
Well, thanks. Let's see. How did we meet? Well, my name is Vera Dragisevich, and I live in Los Angeles County.
Mm-hmm.
I think I first came across Uncle Odd in one of John Jay's videos.
On what?
Okay.
On John Jay? Yeah, John
Yeah,
Jay.
I think it was a John Jay video, and so that's my recollection. It was over a year ago for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half ago. And so I was just following. I was interested in the world of crypto.
All the way through.
Why?
Our tour was
Okay.
Wow.
on the suit. Look
John, Frank, everybody has to get dressed up and then. Pretty serious, you're dressed like this for Christmas.
Just for the.
All right. I don't know.
You guys got to mute. You guys got to mute.
Uncle, can you just mute that dude?
Hello?
All right. I'm trying to figure out. I'm muting everyone. And then I'm going to ask you to unmute Vera.
Okay. Is that
Sorry.
better?
I don't know when people come on and if they'd please just mute, that would be awesome because
Yeah, I think that was Peter.
okay. Yeah. So we're good there. Okay. I'm sorry, Vera. So yeah, back in the Uncle Odd days, John J. Singleton, he's a legend. And so that was on a channel where, they didn't let me talk about what I wanted to talk about, and that's okay. They let me talk about crypto. So
I was just gonna, I can make this long, I can make it short. So I think probably short is better. I've just, for me, everything that was been happening in the past 2 years is really, it wasn't new to me. So I look at things in a very kind of macro way. I'm not talking just about economics. I'm talking about big picture stuff. My parents come from former Yugoslavia. They came here as refugees after World War II. Okay, so I grew up in a very different atmosphere than most people did in Southern California.
Yeah.
I lived in New York for about 11 years or so. Came back about 20 years ago, right? Well, actually more than 20 years ago now. So before 9/11. And so I started following some of the legal stuff that was going on. I was very much a rebel in my community and even in my family with not going along with things. The crypto world, I was very skeptical about it, and I still am. And to me, a lot of things, I look at I'm also a musician. I have a legal background and I have a consultant. My very first real job was with McKinsey and Company.
Oh, wow.
Los Angeles. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to see to me, it was completely foreign world from the way I grew up, from, who I am and a lot of things. So, and I also work for headhunting companies like Korn Ferry and people like that.
Mhm.
But I'm a musician. First and foremost, I play violin. I teach violin.
Nice.
I used to play. I haven't been doing too much of that lately.
Yeah.
So to me, you know, there's just, I hear things and I listen and I need to research things in a very different way.
Yeah.
So it took me the better part of this year to really understand what the heck is going on. I like a lot of other people, you know, was listening to people like Jeff Berwick, and, you know, I never jumped. I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
So I really literally just bought my, as you know, my first Epic coins this past month. So
Oh, wow.
I'm just here to learn and to, you know, see where we're going. And I like the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I really appreciate, you know, some of the interviews you've had, and I've certainly not heard them all. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
It can be a little like drinking out of a fire hose. That's why really, really super excited. Just kind of inside baseball here is, you know, that 6-minute video that Spencer and Richard created was just so amazing. And they're going to release the second one and probably the third one. There's going to be 5 total. And so we're creating a website that is going to be basically, when you visit it, it's just going to say your epic journey begins here. And it'll just take you through those 6 video or the 5 videos. And then from that, there'll be a little survey to try to assess where you are. Are you a you know, crypto newbie? Are you a seasoned vet? You know, all of that. And then as you go through that, it will just take you different places within our ecosystem, you know, and introduce you to different aspects of the Epic Cash community. It's just going to be really cool because, you know, it'll be tied into when we have our mobile wallet, you know, that Diego's creating. And so everything is going to be a whole lot easier then. And so when you want to introduce Epic Cash to others, you can simply say, hey, just go to epicjourney.io and then let the journey begin for them. It'll be bite size. It'll make sense because of the genius of the way they create their videos. And then we'll, you know, it'll walk them through how to be able to acquire Epic. And, you know, at that point in time, I guarantee you, the price, I guess folks didn't tune in and say that the Epic Snapshot is going to be more in the latter part of the day. So those people who are, you know, missing that opportunity to hold their Epic and the ones who are selling it, all I can say is good for the buyers. Good for the buyers. Congratulations. You got some wonderful Epic on sale. And but at the time that we have, you know, epicjourney.io and it's really easy peasy, you know, we aren't going to be talking about the price being sub $10. So, and I was really hoping, Norsimo, that we would hit $10 before the end of the year, because that was going to be, that's my number. $10 is when I get to smoke that my first cigar from the box. So I'm like, dang, I just want it so bad, but I'm going to maintain the distance.
That I want to share with you guys, a little project that Max gave me an idea. Because I saw him.
Speak up a little bit. You're kind of hard to hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little something that I want to share. I'm working with a watchmaker in California. I'm trying to put out some new ideas concerning Epic, and I'm going to show you the first prototype of an official Epic watch.
Oh, nice. Nice
and thin too.
Oh, that's awesome. I am so going to get one of those. That is really cool.
That looks cool, man.
That's beautiful. So
yeah.
So
it's a prototype, but once I have the different you know, the different makeups of what I think what it should be concerning the quality, then it'll be a limited run, because they're quite a little bit expensive to, you know, for the R&D. But I'm taking care of that on my own, you know, my own Epic.
That's awesome.
And I'm not going to be asking for any other coin except for
Epic.
Exactly.
Epic. Epic.
I just
Matt,
wanted to throw that out there so you guys can see it, that it's coming. It's getting there slowly but surely, but it's getting there.
that's cool. And I think more people
One more time, guys, so that you can
look at that. Max Freeman's in the house. He can see that. I'm sure you've shared that with Max as well.
No, it's the first time Max is ever seeing it.
Oh, Max, check that out. Welcome, Max. I think, yeah, I see you. I see you in there, Max. You're on mute. If you want to say hello, we'd love to say hello.
Okay. They keep changing the default settings on the app, so it's hard for my autism to figure out. All right, what are we looking at here? Fausto, Norsimo, what are we looking at?
Norsimo, tell them what you've done.
Well, I'm working with a watchmaker in California to get these puppies
look
out.
at that. Ha, nice.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? I like that. The logo, Max, can you please give us some insight on the creation of that logo? Because it's so
sure
powerful.
But first, I'm going to, hold on, let me see here. I hate doing video, but let's see if you guys can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
So I'm actually talking to these guys. We have a concept design. Hold on, let me stop that video. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. So I'm actually.
You see what I mean?
No. There's a business purpose.
I'm only kidding. It was actually
Oh, I love your shirt, Izzy.
I'm looking at something I'm looking like around $50, $60 type of thing. So
yeah, that's what this is too. China's amazing low-cost producer.
Exactly.
That's cool. It's Norsimo. It's kind of like you. I come to you and I'm like, look, here's this beautiful Fuente cigar, and it's just, man, these are so delicious. And you're like, yeah, that's cool. Let me whip out my Opus X. That's what Max just did.
Oh, come on now.
I'm kidding you, Max.
Well, actually, there's a great business opportunity here. I haven't had a watch since I was a kid, but I was marooned in the Dubai Mall, and it was my honeymoon, so I had to kind of sit there while some shopping was done. And so anyway, I'm in this watch store and I'm doing the math on how much of my net spend would be available to the merchant and when if I paid with Amex. And so, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, the name of the watch is Epic. We're doing this Epic thing. You know what? You only live once. Hyperinflation is coming. Swipe. Okay. And then 2 years later, I kid you not, I'm actually talking with the head people at the company about a custom order to do one. We were only, I don't know, a few cents or not a few cents. I think back then, it was earlier this year, so it might have been 30 or something, wildly premature. Even $5 is too small. But if we do what we think we can, then it's not an obscenely priced watch. It's a reasonably priced watch versus how much of your GPU mining you put into it. That type of calculus can make sense for people. And then there's some interesting opportunities there because Hublot, where I got the idea, Hublot made 210 units of a product called the Big Bang Mecca 210, I think it was, and they sold them for $25,000. And today, last I checked, they're like 125 grand, something like that. And so I'm thinking, okay, there's a business case here. These are considerably less expensive than those, even than they started out at. And there's the existing brand overlap. So I went ahead and bought one and continue to enjoy it and tell the story. And so what I think we can do is imagine if, they sell, I don't know, instead of 210 units, we're not that big yet, maybe 21 or something. And we bake in some type of deal where, you know, there's you can only pay for it in Epic, and then a portion of that gets set aside as of the singularity. I'm just thinking out loud here, you know, dreaming of what we can do. And then imagine, like, I don't know, 1% of your purchase, or 3% or 10 or whatever the number is set aside until the singularity. And then it's essentially a rebate. I mean, a $20,000 watch could end up paying you back millions of dollars, and you get to keep the watch. And if we get the product design and the scarcity right, it can be a big win for both sides. So, you know, I think Epic is the money for everyone, but the way, or one of the ways that we get there is by learning from the aspirational marketing exercises of the prior decades. That's where the there is in the picture. And so whenever we can invest in our brand by partnering with other high-level brands, I think it'll make sense. So sorry to upstage you there, Fausto. That's amazing. I love it. So the way that we came up with the logo was very interesting. Like we do everything else, it was just the hive mind. We had a Telegram group, and people were sketching doodles on pieces of paper and sending them through. I'll see if I can find it. I mean, we must have had a few thousand sketches in there, swirlies and different geometric shapes, and everybody had their thought process. I was partial to one, like, you know, the @ symbol, the shift 2, like, you know, bob@google.com or whatever. And I was thinking, all right, well, we have this paradigm of big tech that is kind of oppressive. You know, Apple spies on you, Amazon monetizes you, Alibaba, who knows what's going on. Okay, well, you know, if we kind of go from A to E, imagine there's like an E inside that swirl. I said, well, if we really get there, maybe our symbol is there on the keyboard. You know, just imagine Max at Epic, and it gets the payment there, and you don't have to worry about the private keys and the public keys and the swapping and the matching and the bridging and all that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably many years away, but it starts with the dream of what it can be. So I was partial to a swirly design. I'll see if I can dig up the concept, but we actually did 2 rounds of crowd design competitions. We said, all right, we're kind of tapped out on ideas. Nobody's really in love with anything that's here. I don't remember exactly how many people were involved or who, you know, was there. People tend to change their names and stuff, so you never know on the internet. Nobody knows you're a dog, that kind of thing. So we actually went out to these crowd design marketplaces. I can't remember their names, and we did a competition. And a lot of these are like $20 or, you know, $30, and you get a lot of copy paste garbage. We just went all out and just threw some money at it. And I don't remember what the prize was, $1,000 or a couple grand or something, but we did 1 round. It was good. We got some competitive entries that got the juices flowing. And we actually also built our community that way. It was really interesting. People were involved in the vision, or interested in the vision, and wanted to get involved. And we saw, oh, wow, okay, this can really be about more than the end result. It's the journey, you know, as well as the destination. So then we did it again. We did a 2nd round. And I think that the current MC Escher EC negative space hexagon device, I don't know, you know, if exists a better way to call it than that. We probably should come up with one, but that was what came out of there. And so it's weird because the inspiration was Electrum, when gold and silver come out of the earth. It's kind of a mix. And so when gold and silver are mixed together, that's called electrum. I think it's actually an amalgam rather than an alloy, if I'm correct. Getting over my skis here.
I was thinking
really know that well.
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I knew you would know. Welcome, Yoga. Merry Christmas.
And a happy Snapshot day to you.
Much love, guys. Much love. And yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes. We, hey, you know, because I know this is your absolute favorite thing to do, but I just want to help health researcher in the chat just chill a little bit. You know, people sold Epic today. Some people sold Epic. So you don't
this is shocking news, and this never happened before, but I believe somebody already addressed that, but once or twice or 3 times. But yeah, people sell crypto. That's what happens. And
Yeah,
sometimes
so-
people buy crypto. And in
Yeah,
fact, when
that's-
people sell crypto, usually means somebody also bought at that same time. So there you go.
That's right. That's right. And again, if you don't like the price of Epic, just give it, 5 minutes and it'll be back. There are people who literally will sell 3 Epic to themselves at a real low price. And that's what Coin Market Cap grabs. And my buddy Pooch, he figured out that he could, it's so funny. He'll go in there and he'll just buy 1 Epic of the lowest red thing, just one. And it just jacks the price right back up because Coin Market Cap, they grab the last one. So
Well,
go ahead, Max.
well, I mean, all you have to do is look at the hash rate. So people are coming to mine in just numbers we've never seen before at any price. And the next halving is next summer. So there's 5,760 coins a day today that are out there for sale, whether they're $3 or $5 or $10 or 1 or 100 or some other number, and that's getting cut in half in next summer. And so as we've seen, we've over the years of this journey, we've kind of held our tongue and let the haters and bullies spit in our eye and turn the other cheek and all that. But the numbers speak for themselves. So, whatever your game is here, Mr. Ranger, how about you go back to your cave and leave us to our Christmas? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Mamola. Welcome to the house. Happy Snapshot Day. Oh,
thank you. It's more than just me. Happy Epic.
Oh, you guys are
holiday,
awesome.
everyone.
Two of my favorite people in the world right here.
Max and Yoga.
You guys looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize. I know that you're Mike. That right next to you is Yoga, but I didn't know Yoga had black hair. we just outed you, Yoga.
Yeah.
Well,
we wanted to check in and say hello to everyone and just share the holiday cheer and say what a great time we've had meeting so many of you throughout the just half a year or so that we've been involved. I'm so excited about the future.
Well, thank you. And about the future, can you give us a little insight? Because I know you've been really hard at work. You've been talking to a lot of people about a lot of things. Is there anything that you can kind of share, like the reception that you're getting from some really smart people?
It's been great. It's been, unanimously great. And I keep waiting for that one person to say, no, it isn't. This isn't what you think it is, or this isn't what you guys believe it is, and this is why. But every time, and we keep going, I go to people that are a lot smarter than I am and know a lot more and who have been in it a lot longer than I have. And it's consistently the same thing over and over, and they cannot believe it. And it's been really exciting. So yes, we've spoken to a number of people at a very high level that we expect will be doing some great things early 2022 and throughout the year. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great year.
That's great. That's great. It is going to be so exciting. And it's one of those things. It's like you're going out and talking to some really high level folks, but they're literally no different than just somebody who downloaded the Vite wallet and is acquiring Epic Cash now. It's a community project. And so there's nothing set aside that's special for anybody. People get into the game because they believe in the project. And that's what I find so cool is hearing the stories from you weekly about who you've spoken with and how the reception is just so amazing. We're not talking about people who are crypto newbies here.
Yeah. And, that was one of the things. Am I coming through clearly or a little bit? Okay. That was one of the things, aside from incredible tech, everything that Epic is as a crypto and as a technology, it's the community. And so that was like such a big part. It just keeps getting better and better. And this time of year, especially when we talk about presence, PRESENTS, it's also presence, right? PRESENCE. And that presence of being involved with all of you, it's been what's so incredible to it. They did, I don't know if you know about this, Uncle, but they did a study, Harvard did a study, a 50-year study where they tracked people that graduated from Harvard. And they asked them over the years, ultimately, as they neared the end of their life on this planet, what was the most meaningful about life, because they wanted to track what the most important thing was, and it was meaningful relationships. It came down to meaningful relationships. And I can tell you from, you know, the time I've spent with you and with others that are on here now with us, that's what it's been about. It's been about that community, that positivity, that optimism, that we're all going together, all rowing in the same direction for the right reasons. So we're excited, and thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Wow. Well, you have been such a great addition. Earlier, Eric was on. He came on.
I heard him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was so awesome. Yeah, Max, you're going to have to go back and watch the beginning of it. The 15 minutes. He was just so good.
Oh yeah, what did he talk about? I'm so glad that he's choosing to get more involved. That's been just, you know, a love at first sight, but you know, both sides wanting to be cautious, you know, because we're looking for marriage, not a, you know, fling kind of a thing. And I'm just over the moon that you know, we are attracting that caliber of person. So what was he talking about?
Oh, you're going to have to go back and watch it. It was just his you know, I asked him some questions about his backstory on crypto, how he arrived at crypto, and then ultimately Epic Cash. And I think it all began with Mike. You introduced Max and Eric, and he just didn't he couldn't say enough good things about that initial meeting, and it was kind of like love at first sight, and it, you know, it's just
cool. That effect on people.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. I mean, Mike, why don't you, because he was kind of cautious, you know, he was just humble. But why don't you just let folks know who Eric is? I mean, he's like the right-hand guy to the mayor, right?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have that title formally, but he's, you know, Eric he's rolling in groups and circles that are at the highest level. He has a tremendous amount of respect and credibility. He has a platinum Rolodex, not just in Miami, but internationally. Yeah. And so, you know, somebody like him being as enamored with Epic as they are is really important. It says a lot, because he sees a lot of deals, you know, guys like him and others like him that I'm talking to, they see a lot. We're talking about dozens of opportunities a week. So to not only be, like I said, as enamored as he is with Epic, but to really to dive in, to understand it, and then to say, I'm willing to come in and to dedicate this much of my time and energy, aside from whatever he invests into it, says a lot about the project and the community and everything else. That's what's so meaningful.
Well, and that's testimony to your Rolodex, because I know that has been hard earned over the years, and really is kind of our most important asset, all of us, because it's not necessarily who you know, but who they know. And so good on you guys. Little Duck is in the house. Hi, Little Duck. Good. I always want to acknowledge someone who's going to show their face. So I don't know if you're muted or if you can say hello. I think you might be muted. Maybe you can unmute. I'm gonna.
Slightly bigger than an average duck. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, when you there, I think are you off mute now, Little Duck? It's just funny. Well, when you start quacking and we can hear you, we'll have a conversation.
It says connecting to audio. Looks like he's connecting to audio. Little Duck got another Little Duck to help him with audio.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna do the play-by-play.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I love you folks.
And they're around in the corner. And man, you know, Mike, while I have you on the line, and Max, and I'm cautious to share this, but I'm going to. It's so one of our portfolio companies is called SingleCom, and we are up for the engagement, the Tech Engagement of the Year award at a major conference that's going to be in April. And we were on a call. Excuse me, I'm going to let Rebecca in. We were on a call a strategy call about the theme of what we want it to be. And I put myself through college as a magician, and magic has always been a big part of my life. As far as, everyone seems to like magic. So taking clients out to dinner, it was just always, I always carried, I called it my Houdini's dozen on me, and could just, people like magic. And so I thought was, Becky, hola, we'll say hello to you here in a sec. So my thought was, let's create the theme around capture the magic with single com, and we could have some magicians in the booth. We got the VIP booth. And then Michael Loeb, who is, our CEO, he was co-founder of Priceline.com and about 15 other companies that you've used, but don't know who it is behind it. Anyway, he doesn't think small, and he's like, you know what we need? If we're going to go through with this, capture the magic, we need Magic Johnson. We need Magic Johnson to be on stage there with us, capture the magic. It would just be amazing. And so we have another company to where Shaq is, he's, gosh, what's the word? It's the tip of my tongue. He basically, we have a 3-year engagement with him to where he talks about the company. So we want to do the same. We want to do the same thing with magic. So ends up that his manager is also the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Mike spoke to him on his birthday, which was the 24th, and told him everything about single com. And what really connected with him, and Magic Johnson, he hasn't endorsed, that's the word I was looking for. He hasn't endorsed a company for 10 years, for over 10 years, we learned. And but Mike was talking to him about, single com just making the world better for lots of reasons. I won't go into the business model, but it's really about, making the world better so that companies can engage with their customers better in an easier way. Long story tolerable at this point. He followed up with Mike and Pooch, Mr. P, and basically said, we're very interested and we'll get back with you at the end of the holidays. So then what attracted him was helping the world. So now my brain goes into epic mode, right? And we're likely going to be going out to LA, hopefully to close this. And I, am going to have a conversation. Mike and I will have a conversation with Magic Irvin Johnson. He goes by Irvin, and talk about mobile mining and epic and how it can change the world. I mean, can you imagine? I can. Can you imagine? That is what makes him tick. It's like helping the unbanked. It's like, that is just such a BHAG. So if this all goes down like I think it can, it would go in the that doesn't suck category to have Magic Johnson put his hand in the pile too. What do you think of that?
It's magic.
It's magic. but seriously, it's about, and Max, I know you're listening here, but I think we do even more. We do even more about how Epic can change the world and how it can help the unbanked. That is just such a critical part of our future. And I just think that like I would love more to talk about that more, because that's where our use case just is amazing and astonishing. And 2022 is again, I can't wait to do this show a year from now. Can you imagine? I can. Can you imagine the person, getting grumpy about the price of Epic going down because some likely miner sold? Let's just have this same conversation next year. And I want to remind you of where it was, a year prior. It sure isn't going to be under $5 very long, I can tell you that. So So Mike, thank you for all that you do, and you've been an inspiration to me for sure. And just the caliber of talented people that you are networking us with is just, that's what's paving the path. You know, Max's supercomputer of a brain, Yoga's awesome good looks, and you know, your Rolodex. What could possibly go wrong, guys? Oh boy.
All right.
You know, that's another thing when you ask me about Eric, Uncle, is with regard specifically to the mining as it applies to Miami, for example. It's not just the yachts and the high rises and the glitz and the glamour. There's a whole other side of Miami. That's not that. And so we've had discussions, and we will be having discussions at a very high level to tap into that and to address and educate with regard to the mining abilities of Epic to help everyone in Miami, not just the people that.
No, that's awesome. I mean, and for those of you who haven't been to Miami, I-95 goes down, you know, the East Coast down to Miami, and when you get to Miami, you have the east side of I-95 and you have the west side of I-95. The east side is where all the wealth is. On the other side is where all the wealth isn't necessarily. And so it's really, really cool. That's going to be a wonderful case study to be able to show. And because you have this mayor that is so open-minded, and you know, how we can take the city of Miami and have that as a use case on how really there's a ton of unbanked down in Miami. So we'll start there. Becky, good morning. Come off mute and say hello. Looks like you're having.
Thank you for having me.
You look like you're having an epic Christmas. I love the hat. Love the swag.
Oh, it's not Christmas. It's Snapshot Day.
Yeah, it's Happy Snapshot Day. That's right. Thank you. So did you and the family have a great Christmas?
Yeah, we don't celebrate on Christmas. We celebrate on Christmas Eve.
Okay. Yeah. We do. We do the same. But it is just a great day. So where's the rest of your family?
I don't know. I think my mom she's putting a garbage bag over the Christmas tree and wrapping it up for next year.
Okay.
And then my dad, I don't know where he is, but he should come on.
Yeah, he should come on. It's just not going to be the same without him.
I'll tell him to come on.
Yeah. Let me move this here. I got a little, man. Oh, okay. Sorry. I had a little technical issue, and well, it's a big technical. Oh, there I am. Okay. Sorry. I have this teleprompter so that I don't have to look down at the computer. That always kind of distracts me. So we got that working again now. So, all right. So,
Uncle, can I, before we dive into the next one, I just wanted we have to head out to a holiday event. Just wanted to say thank you all again, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to the entire Epic family.
Yeah.
Seeing and meeting all of you.
All right. Well, hey, are you going to be
Much
in
love,
Miami?
guys.
Are you going to be in Miami, Mike, on the 17th?
Yes, and beyond. More than you know. Stay tuned for updates on that.
All right.
Man. All right.
All right. Well, thank you. You two have a lovely day, and thank you for all of the energy that you put into.
You guys are awesome.
Epic. Yeah, it's just
Thank
epic.
you all, guys.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Bye.
Bye,
Merry
guys.
Christmas,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
Have a
Merry
good one.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Hey guys, just want to say Merry Christmas and hi to everybody.
And who is this?
This is Wepic.
Oh, this is what?
Wepic.
Oh, Wepic. There we are. I see you. Where do you hail from? Where are you calling from?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. Okay.
What part of Pennsylvania?
Northeast.
All right.
Northeast.
Pennsylvania in
Okay.
the house.
I've had a warehouse in Pittsburgh for about 20 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's about 2-3 hours, I believe.
It's pretty far. Yes, I've made the drive. So welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
I like your name, Wepic. How did you arrive at that?
It's my name and then added Wepic. So
I love it.
a little bit more anonymous. So I usually use my nickname, but this time, I just want to stay of course, anybody listening would probably guess who I am. So,
Well, what would you mind giving us a little backstory on how you found crypto and how you found Epic? Are you sounds to me like you're probably a seasoned vet.
not really. I pretty much just started last year. Maybe
Okay.
2 years. Pretty much, you know, they mentioned the Bitcoin, Satoshi. I think it was like listening to commercials on the phone, or
Yep.
and then you get I forgot what the it is Satoshi, right? The smallest
Yes.
unit. So
Yep.
at that time I didn't think of anything about it because it's, you know, okay, I'm gonna be watching commercials, you know, people avoid watching ads, and then here I'm gonna actively watch ads to get those. And so didn't think about it. And then about last year, relative of ours pointed us to STX, block stacks. And he tried to explain what blockchain was, and no matter how much he tried and how much I researched, it's just the concept it's there, but it's just hard to grasp.
Right.
But anyway, he's in the industry, so I bought a couple thousand just to be in it. And then at some point he mentioned Epic, that they're starting out this new project, and it has the capability of being the next Bitcoin. And it's something that at this point everybody has the capability of getting, whereas Bitcoin, you need to have an ASIC miner, you have to have all these fancy equipment, or a lot of money to be able to get, rather than small unit. So okay, so I passively mined it with old systems. And just this year, of course, when I looked at it, it's like, oh, do you know how much Epic is now? And I said, oh, I think about 30 cents. And then he said, no, it's about $5 now. And then obviously that's when, unfortunately, that's when people take more notice, is when something jumped that high.
Yeah.
Then they tune in, like, oh, okay, it is a great project. And then now it's like, okay, now I'm gonna divert my small mining, like 3 GPU from Ethereum to Epic.
Yeah.
And then you read more about it, you join the community, you have all these great people and friendly people, and they all help each other. So trying to do my part in helping too, and that's where we are now. Christmas Day, waiting for the
Snapshot.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to be talking for a few minutes.
Oh, glad that you are. That's really cool.
Yeah,
it's a fun community.
Speaking out.
What's that, Max?
Oh, just thanks for speaking up and telling your story. It's interesting. At 1 cent, I couldn't give these coins away. I mean, I would send one coin to people as like a souvenir or something, and they'd be like, "What are you like? This is offensive. You're giving me 1 penny. Like, piss off, you bastard." And today it's like, oh, $5. Wow, thank you. Because they realize, it's like a lottery ticket that can be more. And it's interesting how, you go from nobody caring to FUD, to fight, and then to FOMO. So, hopefully we'll get to that FOMO stage. But really, we're so much further along than people give us credit for. All of the infrastructure that's in place for BTC is generally in place for all the other coins, even up to the exchange traded funds. All of that infrastructure is in place. If there's a Litecoin and a Dash ETF, then we can have it too. And the hash rate is just through the roof. A lot of people don't realize that we, what's the word I was looking for? So these mining calculator sites, you mentioned coming through the mining side, there's so many people with GPUs out there And we just don't show up at all. Why? Because we're not on the exchanges that they get their data feed from. Why are we not on there? Because somebody has to go and jump through their hoops and cut a check and plug in a market maker and do all this other stuff. That is literally how every other asset in the space has had no option but to play. So we take a lot of heat for, only being on one random little exchange. Well, no, it's not a random little exchange. It's just a DEX that you just don't understand why it's special and so important, but we do. And it's gonna get easier. So thank you for telling your story. And as I always do, if you or anyone else wants to get more involved, just please reach out and find a way. Every little bit helps. Everything everyone does helps, even if it seems insignificant. I just checked, and we're up over 1,700 snapshot holders on Veet that haven't withdrawn the coins. It's going up a few percent a day at this point. So we can go from 1,700 to 10,000 in a relative blink of an eye, because that's how these purely digital phenomena work.
Captain's in the house. Look at that.
How you doing?
What an epic family.
Show off the sweatshirt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that hat too. Hey, Becky.
I decked him out for Christmas.
You did good.
He has a shirt too.
Nice.
Oh my God. Swagtastic.
Do we look like twins?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just amazing. Just amazing. It's like now I presume there's going to be some point in the day where you'll probably, Captain, take that hat off and put a Patriots hat on.
I think I sleep with it.
He did. He woke up like this.
That's so funny. That's awesome. Now we need Norsimer to get a do-rag that has Epic on it. Right?
I'm not there yet.
Oh, come on. You're a legend, man. We just need Epic right there, man. It's be perfect. Oh, that's good. So yeah, Max, let's see. So we have Wepikin, Yoga, Vera, Norsimer, Izzy, Becky, and me. So Izzy, come off mute, man.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. So I want to hear from you, because you I don't know. Do I use this term right when I say OG? I think it means old guard or whatever. Just people who have a lot of experience. I probably have that wrong.
It's not old gangster or old goat or something like that, depending on the person.
I think it's original gangster, or maybe I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right. Yes.
It is okay.
The girl with the swag gets the point.
Yeah, you win the trivia. But anyway, you've been around a good while, Izzy, and I just kind of like to have you share a little bit about your backstory and how you arrived at Epic Cash, because you're just so important to the community now, and I think people are interested who haven't met you before.
So it all started with Bitcoin. It was 2010. I was setting up bots to run my video game and trying to learn about scripting. And I was on all these random weird websites where they flash all these advertisements at you. And one of them was make money in your sleep with Bitcoin and mine with your own hardware. And I was like, I got to check this out. And I tried it for about 15 minutes and it totally disrupted my video games. And I said, no, this is senseless. I'm not doing this. And fast forward to 2013, I was getting out of the service and had some free time. And at that time in 2013, Bitcoin had exceeded the price of an ounce of gold, is what everyone was saying.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, I slept on this way too long. I need to figure out what's going on here. This is technology and it's really cool stuff. And so I picked up a couple graphics cards and started mining just random altcoins. And so that was 2013. 2014, there was a crypto winter. It was my first experience with this crash, and everything just was horrible. Nothing, all the prices. My video cards were useless. I sold them. I ended up I got up to like I think 6 or 7 of these Radeon 280X and these old AMD graphics cards. and they were just pointless. So I sold all those, and not much longer, NVIDIA made a 750 Ti. And so, and all of a sudden they were efficient, and I was still interested in blockchain and cryptocurrency mining. I was just, it's kind of, it appealed to my nature of tinkering with things and playing with technology and being a participant in all this. And that, I think that's the appeal of Bitcoin, and also what got me into Epic Cash. So fast forward again from the 2015, 2016 timeframe into 2018, I got more serious with my own processes. I incorporated as an S corp with small business, and then in 2019, I was scanning this service I have that lists all the proof of work coins that are coming out, and it hadn't even gone mainnet yet, and it was Epic Cash, and I was comparing it to the leading particulars, all the specifications compared to all these other coins, and no other coin had the hardware specifications where you can mine with their CPU and your GPU, and it was just everything that I was asking questions about in other Discord servers. Wow. and other blockchain projects. Like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we more agile? Why when we're thinking about ASIC resistance, how are you really ASIC resistant? Like, what's going to happen when ASICs pounce on us? How are we going to address that? And they were like, you don't need to worry about that. Why are you asking these questions? And here it was in front of me, Epic Cash with its Freeman multi-algo, multi-algorithm proof of work model, where it at the time it was 60% allocated to CPU, 38 or 32.
38,
okay.
38, you get it right.
Yeah,
Keep
38,
going.
thank you. 38% to the graphics cards, and then 2% on cuckoo cycle, which is actually mineable by any of these hardware, ASIC, CPU and GPU can mine on the cuckoo cycle. So it was very comprehensive, and the more I got into this community and reading about things and asking my ignorant questions up front and making my challenges, I just got to find out that there's a lot more than what's on the surface, for one thing. Mm-hmm. And come to realize later on, about a year after I've been mining,
there are layers. Sorry.
There are these layers. Ooh, boy, there are layers. And I think the most special layer of when it comes to Epic is our community. Like, yeah, hands down. And so yeah, that's kind of the story of how I arrived at where I'm at today.
Well, tell us a little bit about the community from your perspective.
It's deep. It has layers for sure. And yeah, and it's all over the world. It's growing. I think there's times when I wish it would grow faster, but I also know that there's going to come a day when I'm looking in the Telegram and there's just going to be messages flying by, and there's going to be 20,000 plus members. I'm be like, I miss the old days. Right.
That's true. That's
going to happen.
And in perusing other Telegram chats, every once in a while I'll do that. The thing about Epic is it's just a friendly place, and so many other places just seem angry, just kind of jaded and angry. And so it's kind of like, I'm kind of glad that Epic came late to the party, just because, Max, I presume that part of your inspiration was learning the good, bad, and ugly of other projects, both that were then currently relevant, and those who...
It was the regulatory.
Okay.
I mean, open source is open source. Everybody can take everybody's tech. Community, it's hard to get right. We've made that a priority from the very beginning. But really, the regulatory landscape is just such a shifting sand under your feet. You don't know where to land. I mean, in 2017, it was all about ICOs. I bought into over 50 of these ICO deals in 2017, and some made some money, but most failed. And then the few that actually built a product, the SEC comes and kills them. And then so 18, 19, 20, the prevailing wisdom is, okay, the powers that be have said, these are the rules of the road, therefore we're going to invest here. And you went to a more of a VC and corporate model. And then those successful ones are now getting rug pulled, and they're like, oh my God, I had no idea. and so just, from the very beginning, we wanted to hit all the boxes, not just have all the tech wish lists and do a great job on community, but really be solid. We want to have that censorship resistance that comes from knowing that, there's going to be 10,000 other assets that are going to be impaired before we will even lose a wink of sleep. That's an asset on the balance sheet that's going to be there as a differentiator today, tomorrow, into the singularity and beyond. So it's good to finally, have some wider appreciation for these things that were taken for granted. And PayPal, Square, Stripe, Venmo, all these are wonderful services when they work. But when you go, oh, wait a minute, like, it's not my money, I can't do what I want with it. There's these holds and blocks and fees and forms, and I have to come to the office now in person to sign a form, and it's a 2-hour wait, and I have to put things on my face that I don't want to, and show a man a piece of paper and a QR code. Oh wait, like, you just changed the rules of the game on me. And so I think Epic is increasingly attractive to people, because we said from the start that immutability to us means certain things, and it means 21 million. It means the code will never change. We left ourselves some wiggle room on the algorithms, because 60 for CPU was too high. Now we're at 48. I think that's going to go even lower. And then when cell phones come in, we need to make room. And proof of space-time reduces the energy need by 99%. And I don't think it will reduce the security. In fact, I'm pretty sure it won't. So, that's a conversation we need to have. And to do all those things, we need to have a strong governance structure. And that's also a reason why we couldn't move too fast, because in 2019, the governance stuff like Snapshot and like the compound governance contracts and the great stuff that Dash and Decred and Cardano and Polkadot and other leaders in governance have done. And so, we made a conscious decision. We take a little flack for, oh, you're just a copy paste. I could do that in 5 minutes. Well, sure. And Michael Dell could, ship computers from his dorm room in college by innovating around business model rather than inventory and warehouses like IBM did. And we saw who won in that game. And so we choose to be a little bit behind the bleeding edge people and be leading edge, and go and do that V2.0 model and tweak the DNA ever so slightly, and really learn from everything that's come before. Not Freeman Express. That's on my mind, because I just put a sneak peek PDF out there in the main chat on what's coming. That's been in the works in the long time, and in the works for a long time, and we're increasingly ready to talk about it. So that's exciting. But Freeman University, I think, is attracting some of the sharpest minds, certainly that I've run across, and like attracts like. I can't think of anything more interesting than talking about fractional reserve hybrid algorithmic stable coins on Christmas. And there's not many people like that, but the ones that are into that's hot. Are talking to me in Freeman Express. Yeah, right. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. One thing I just kind of want to jump in a little bit. You're talking about the community, and that is really the coolest part of our. We have amazing tech, but the community itself is really remarkable, and it is humbling. And the community is dynamic. We have such different people. And you talk about how when you peruse the rest of the crypto sphere and you look at all these other different communities, our community, I just think we have a little bit more fun, and I think we're a little friendlier than some out there. And of course, we can't deny that crypto brings out some of the most highest quality trolls out there. So I mean, once in a while we get entertained, and once in a while, we get people that come in with poorly masked intentions, shall we say, and they'll ask questions, in guise of under the guise of education. They ask questions like, well, why do you guys suck? That's not really an educational question. So the community tends to respond in kind. We build this, it's not even like we build it, it built itself. The community itself is the immune system. The community itself is a living organism. And we have all these dedicated people with their ideas. And the whole community is this amalgamation of these ideals, and which is why it's so resilient, which is why it attracts other people, because the overall energy is very positive. The direction is very positive, you know? And it's never without, I mean, this is internet, okay? I'm surprised at how little trolls we get, because I've been in Monero, I've been in Bitcoin, and holy crap, those were toxic even in the early days. You know, and we've been blessed, and the community, again, managed, discouraged, or in some cases, sometimes these guys actually do have a change of heart. They come in, you know, trolling, and then they actually go, holy crap, this is real.
Right.
This is not bullshit. This is not a lazy fork. This is not, you know, and for those people who come to try and pick some scabs, then they kind of go, wait a second, these are not scabs. This is real.
Right.
This is real tech, and they see the value in this, and they remain, and some of them become parts of our community, you know. So there's that too. And all of that is humbling. All of that is really amazing and impressive, that despite that we don't all agree, we'll find something interesting and wonderful in Epic. We'll benefit from it. I mean, everybody who joins benefits. You know, folks say, well, you know, I can come in and help the project. It's like, no, man, you come in and help yourself. The project is fine. You help yourself, and by helping yourself, you know, the project will help you. So it's not like somebody's doing you a favor. You're doing yourself a favor. You're empowering yourself by joining the community. That's powerful. That's strong. To me, that's really amazing.
And look, I mean, we have Becky on the Zoom call here, and her dad behind her, and we have my daughter Alex. You know, she's young. You have me. What I love about the community is it like literally can bring families together. It's like yesterday we just had a lot of great conversations centered around Epic at my house, because that's what the kids got. You know, from me, that's
crazy cool, man.
It was the easiest Christmas ever, just because you know, I was able to you know, send them their gift like in 2 seconds. I'm like, are you ready? You ready for your Christmas present? Boom, I hit send, and they're like, thanks, Dad. But that is going to be the gift that keeps on giving, right? And
absolutely, yeah.
So the community is just so diverse, yet I've never seen anything like it, to where it's like we all, with our own peculiarity. You know what I'm trying to say? Why do I have it?
Differences, diversity. Let's go with that. We're diverse.
With our own differences, and we all have.
Come on, Islo. Sorry, I see his expression.
we have you know, Epic Cash in common, and it's like everybody has. It's like this cool foxhole. Everybody has each other's backs, and I think one thing that's evolved nicely is, you know, spinning up the Iron Sharpens Iron group to chat, to just be able to, when we start seeing that infighting in the main channel that inevitably happens, it's like, hey guys, you know, people have disagreements all the time. We don't have to do it here publicly. Let's take it over to Iron Sharpens Iron, and you know, have done that a couple of times, and it's worked out really, really well. And it just kind of takes the toxicity out of that main chat. So I think that's a tool that was hive-minded. And speaking of hive mind, Max, I know you love that term a lot, and I've never really thought about it, but now I have witnessed it. I see the genius behind doing what you do. Just putting a seed, germinating an idea, and just the community is just so good about taking that and just making it better. And then all of a sudden you have this beautiful, delicious cake, you know, that's been made. So, you know, that's, and you know what, Telegram, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you, my heart and soul, for the edit feature. You know, when I post and you can go back and like, oops, misspelled that one. It should have been shot, not the other one.
Nice.
But, yeah, it is. Telegram is a great community. I know somebody asked about Discord earlier. Max, maybe you can comment on this. It does seem like different projects have different preferences of where they engage. Why do you think we're, Telegram heavy and we aren't necessarily on a lot of other places?
That is a fascinating question. And if anybody is a ninja on other platforms where we are weak or absent, please reach out, because I definitely will be very interested in working with you to help address these shortcomings. But I've given it a lot of thought and also observed my own usage patterns. So Discord works wonderful if you are on a desktop, if you have a big monitor, if you have a headset and can use all the bells and whistles. But it's for me, it's basically unusable on mobile. Certain people say only talk to me on Discord, or certain communities are only reachable there that don't have a Telegram bridge like we do, and I just don't do it because I don't want to. It would have to be somebody really important. And so there's that extra level of friction there. And I think it's because we have busy people on the go that Epic fits within their life rather than it is their life. And so these corporate VC projects, you may be engaging with a very lively Discord moderator who's friendly and helpful and knowledgeable and really, all about it. But if their paycheck stopped, they wouldn't show up the next day. Our people, okay, it's going to take a few hours for you to get a response on a help desk, but those are volunteers that nobody's forcing them to be there, or they're not, smile through the pain, hide the pain, Harold, that type of thing. I'm here because I have to, not because I want to. Everybody that's in Epic is there because they want to be. I mean, even the haters and trolls, whoever burned Johnny's college fund to get in a punch while we're live streaming here, joke's on you, buddy, because scarcity is a real thing, and we're strong. So I hope that victory was worth it, because financially it's not. We've got a good thing going, and we've taken a lot of lumps, and we've also been very restrained in how we present ourselves. We're not doing the breathless 100x pump promoters. We're not paying the people that are in the game to spread the word. We're not doing all the things that everybody expects. And so people don't know where to put us. Okay, like you're less than the 47th Inu coin from this week, and you're not on Hotbit and AscendX, much less Binance. What's wrong with you? And if you're one of 27 or 100 coins, I talk to a lot of people and always get into, what are you holding and why? The taxi driver or Uber driver today was very pleased with himself that his $40 in ETH that he had bought at 2K on Robinhood was up to $100. He had doubled his money from $2,000 ETH to $4,000 ETH over these past, however many months he's been in the game. And, he doesn't know anything beyond, those data points that I've already given. And so where do you even begin about the differences between proof of stake and sharding and proof of work and immutability and all this? No, thank you. Have a nice day. I'll do the tip through Uber instead of trying to set you up with a Vite wallet like I usually do. I'm out there on the adoption beat myself every day. And I know how hard it is to give these things away. They're easier at $5 than they were at a penny, but it's still way too hard. And so we're smaller, but we punch really above our weight, because when you go to CoinMarketCap and you see the volumes of Epic, every single one of those is an honest trade. It's a person-to-person trade. There's no market makers in there that are doing anything yet. I mean, okay, maybe there's a few experiments if anybody's running bots That's another thing that I think is a very fertile opportunity because the spreads are wide. But I'm not aware of any serious players that are there because VTEX charges 40 basis points, which is a lot. Either side, there's no volume rebates, and it doesn't work the same way as the other ones. So it would be a square peg in a round hole. So when we get on Bitmart and other venues and have E1, that'll all change seemingly overnight, but for today it's a major point of friction. And you go into the trading channel and you're a newbie and you hear James Freeman bemoaning for the 43rd time about the wide spreads. That is your brand perception, and it is our reality today. So when we have $100,000 daily volume, and some other coin might have 500,000, people don't realize that that's maybe like 25 grand of legit volume, and the other 95% is fake. If you've ever tried to go to sell and the order disappears, or you get a fill at suspiciously less than you thought, you think your atomic swap was bad. I took some lumps in learning a lot of this stuff the hard way myself, so I know all the ways that newbies can lose money from my own experience. And all those things are solvable, but they take time, and they're there today. So I think we are smaller, but we're higher quality. And what matters is not the size of the seed. What matters is the DNA inside the seed. And we have the DNA to be a sequoia redwood, like 300 feet tall, live for thousands of years because it's made of silicon, not carbon type of DNA.
So today is Snapshot Day, which means however much Epic that you hold, you're going to get a snapshot, and you're going to get, it's a twin snapshot. You are going to get ECR and ECK. We won't go into the how that all magically manifests, but I do want to talk about ECR, Max. If you could just kind of educate us, talk to us like we're in the 8th grade and don't know a thing about governance and how ECR is going to come into play with the future of Epic. Epicenter.
Yeah. So imagine if you bought, I know a guy that bought a good chunk of Coinbase stock in 2011. He paid 11 cents. And when it went public, it was $310, $340, I think it was. So he experienced an absolutely monstrous return on his investment by realizing that a picks and shovels business model would be a solid one, especially if it was run as a strong operation led by quality people. And so his foresight was rewarded. And in addition to investing in the tokens, this particular individual invests also in startups, and Coinbase was one of them. And so ECR is essentially the equity of our startup. Epicenter is a DAO of DAOs, or a meta DAO. And so when we have Epicentral Media that's doing the efforts to get the word out, or Epicentric events here in January from the 17th to the 19th, or April 4th to the 6th in Miami, or Epicentral on the precious metals side, all of these different teams that are working on things are going to have skin in the game and build stake in the future of our ecosystem through this ECR token. ECR is essentially the shares in our common enterprise. If we were a startup, we would have a corporation, and it would have stock, and some of that stock would be given to the executives and the employees as options and restricted grants and this and that. We're just taking that same concept to the token world, and also giving it value by vesting it with voting rights and control over the key parameters in our ecosystem, not the Epic protocol itself, which needs to remain governance free for very important reasons, because it can be a vulnerability and a backdoor. But on the ecosystem side, we have a lot of latitude on what should the maximum amount of EUSD that anyone can borrow be when we launch it. If the market cap is $100 million, it's not safe to let people go and borrow $50 million when the system is unproven. Should we start it at 1 million? 100,000, 3 million. Should there be an interest rate? Should we do X or Y or Z? I mean, we're building a highly complex, interrelated dynamic system that needs constant care and attention. And through ECR and some of the other assets, we're making it explicit that if you participate in, as we all do, those of us here today, you know, we are the target market of who gets this. The fact that, you know, you own Epic is a welcome to ECR, but ECR is our, you know, is our job essentially. You know, Epic is for everyone, but if you're a passive holder, you're kind of getting a free ride as we're building out the Epicenter ecosystem. You know, Epic benefits, but also the people that are doing the work in the form of ECR should benefit, because that story is really about EUSD and EMPL and some of the other stable assets that use Epic rather than Epic itself. It's like a mutual cooperation, you know, both sides benefit, 1 + 1 = 11 kind of thing. And so we do give great care and consideration to the incentive alignment of the different groups in our community, because we need the miners to mine, and that means they should sell if they want to. So, you know, from the perspective of a hodler, oh, you trader, you know, why are you bringing the price down on Christmas, you bad boy? No, it requires a seller for every buyer. And it's not as if, you know, people don't see the potential, but if you need the money today, then you're going to hit that bid. And so it takes all kinds, and we're creating our village. And by creating these different groups of incentivized stakeholders, ECR is about participating through engagement and labor. As we do things as a community together, we will build value that grows into that ECR bucket in other ones. But if you're staking EON and you're running a validator node and you're doing other services for the network, you don't necessarily want, and we don't want your story to be hinged to our success, because the XRP, as an example, I think XRP and Ripple is a great example, because Ripple Inc. is a company that is owned by VCs and executives, and they're on the opposite side of the table of the XRP token holders. And if you had a transaction in motion while the Ripple Inc., the company, got hit with the SEC lawsuit, then you got hit with a 50% loss through no fault of your own. And so Epic is not a security. ECR, we don't believe it's a security. Someone might argue it, but you know, the ECAP and EIOU and some of these other things, you know, if they're passive investments, then really we should be looking at them as securities, and you know, play within the regulations rather than trying to have one tool that has to dance around all these things. Because Ether, not to knock on them, it has to do a lot of duties. We have a dozen different assets that can do various parts of what the single ETH or SOL or DOT or ADA or any of these other single asset ecosystems can do. Because I think the future is not just multi-algorithm as far as the proof of work and Bitcoin side, but it's also multi-chain and also multi-footprint, because sometimes you want to be a coin and sometimes you want to be a token. And if you're a token, sometimes you want to be a security, because you can access 100 times the amount of capital on easier terms. People are happy to just avoid a negative 50% or 50 basis point negative interest rate if they're European or Japanese, or avoiding capital controls and confiscation if they're in a weak rule of law jurisdiction. So I think our design really has the right kind of, it comes back to DNA to do what we need it to do, which is to onboard all of the world's wealth and financial transactions into one stable chain. It's the individual components are not stable, but overall you have this emergent stability where you have this positive feedback loop of liquidity begets liquidity and volume begets volume, and then you have the greater chance of the double overlapping coincidence of wants of finding the other side they're willing to trade at that time and getting a good execution. So that's enough of a soapbox rant for Christmas Day.
All right, we're going to I'm going to ask you another question, and feel free to educate us again. What is ECK, and how's that going to help our community in general?
So ECK is what's known as a canary network. We're putting the feature roadmap together for versions 3 through 10 of the protocols. And so if we know that we want to, for example, change the algorithm mix or increase the throughput to get more transactions through, we don't know what's going to break in the system when people run it. I mean, the hash rates are through the roof. And when
what is that? What is a hash rate? I mean, again, for this still is a community dedicated to newbies. I don't really understand what hash rate is. Can you just help us with that?
Yeah, so hashing is the process by which computers do the computation to decide which computer wins the block. So once every minute, there's 1,440 blocks per minute, and all of the pending transactions get assembled. And also through that process, 4 new coins get created. So right now there's about 13 million Epic coins in existence. And every minute, there's right now about 15,000 computers, a mix of primarily CPUs and GPUs, that are all engaged in that competition to see which of those will win the block. And the way you win the block is you solve the mathematical puzzle. And the mathematical puzzle is comprised of operations that are known as hashes. And so if you look on explorer.epic.tech and you see the hash rate for ProgPow, that means how many computations per second or per minute or whatever that all of those devices together are knitted essentially into one giant supercomputer that's dedicated to not only processing transactions, but making sure that no matter how much computational power comes, that the network also dynamically rebalances every 100 blocks, which is about 2 hours. So let's say we get discovered and everybody goes, wow, it's the next best thing, and 100 times the amount of computers come on all of a sudden. Well, in BTC, that's 2 weeks. So the network is going to be really wonky for 2 weeks until it adjusts. In our case, it's only 2 hours. So what happens is that the difficulty, how hard that mathematical puzzle is, essentially it all comes down to a giant coin flipping contest. How hard or easy that puzzle is adjusts based on more or fewer computers coming to join the network. And so in the case of Bitcoin Core, BTC with the single algo SHA-256 proof of work setup, there's a long lead time. You have to tape out the wafers. You have to reserve the Yoga could speak better to this. You have to reserve the capacity at the factory. You have to put your money down. You have to get forward commitments. You have to get the financing from Wall Street. 6 to 9 months, 12-month planning cycle before those devices hit the market, and then or hit the field, and can add to the computational power of the network to increase it in the face of market demand. And in the case of, and then they only last for 2 years, so you have to do the whole exercise over again. Whereas Epic can run on an old laptop, a gaming card, even obsolete ones that can't run other coins like Ethereum that have a bigger resource need. It's very lean. So Epic can Epic can be mined on underutilized existing hardware that people already have, versus the entire mining sector needing to be funded out of the economics of creating those new coins. Because when Marathon and Riot and all these publicly traded companies go and invest in mining capacity, they have to sell those coins immediately to pay not just the energy, but the capex and the financing arrangements and all the stuff that goes into it. Whereas Epic is just more word of mouth, more contributors. Hey, I'm going to invest 20 minutes and get that spare computer. Like Wepic just said, he started out with old gear. Islo had obsolete stuff that couldn't mine other coins, and it can mine Epic. And that's a one-way process. Once you come to Epic, are you going to go back to those other ways? Like, let me lose 3% a month through the Federal Reserve note. Oh, wait, I like CBDCs are here. This is awesome. I can't check out because my carbon footprint is too high this month. No, that's ridiculous. Only more people are coming, and they're going to run into a brick wall of scarcity because that's pre-programmed in. There's only going to be 210 coins a day in 6 years. There could be billions of devices that are all sharing those 210 coins a day, and they'll all be running the blockchain locally. You know, that's the other thing. In where these other networks are going, like in Ethereum, there's 250,000 validator nodes, but you're essentially relying on them to process the transaction. It's like you go to an ATM machine and it gives you the cash. Whereas with Epic, you have the cash on your phone in your pocket, and you can just zap it to the other user through the phone. So these other networks are increasingly becoming subordinate fiefdoms to the banking sector and the powers that be. And I think that's also why it's been difficult for people, especially those who came later or those who came early and got cynical and disillusioned, to understand that, yes, you've heard about the past 5,000 coins that all claim to be better than Bitcoin, but none are. And this is that one time that it really is worth paying attention. But you're so tired from listening to the sales pitches of the other garbage that, you know, you don't want to hear anymore.
Right. So when you say hash rates are through the roof, what does that mean? Back to the question.
It means we got a lot of miners.
What's that?
Yeah, Yoga, why don't you take that one? I'm going to grab a drink here.
You bet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the short of it is we got a lot of miners. The hash rate is up through the roof because a shitload of people, pardon my French, are mining Epic Cash. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's just we keep adding. We've seen this in the mining channel. We get like new people piling in every day.
Wow.
You know, we're more profitable to mine than a lot of the cryptos out there. You know, and if you want to talk tech, by the way, I'll touch off on one thing that's kind of, you know, just thinking about all the stuff that people bring up, you know, in chat and, you know, Telegram and, you know, whatever. And one of the things that people talk about is like technology, and they're talking about, somebody again said, you know, well, you guys, how different are you guys from Grin? Somebody woke up, you know, 2.5 years later, somebody woke up and asked the most trite and banal question ever. Well, how different are you guys from Grin? I mean, you guys changed something. It's like, dude, go back to 2019, okay? Yeah, we changed, you know, we changed the algos, we changed the, you know, yeah, we changed the scarcity. Okay, that's the most obvious one. Okay, if you didn't understand that one, it's like there's really nothing to talk about. Okay, but again, people like that are usually not here to hunt bear. You know, so you know, the next thing is like, okay, do I have to explain again for the millionth time? You know, we're mining with 3 algos. We're flexible. Do we need to explain again that, you know, when Mimblewimble, you know, started as a protocol, there were 20 plus projects, 20 plus coins that were using Mimblewimble. Today there are 3, okay, and we're the highest market cap of the 3, you know, on layer 1. Cool. Okay, so I mean, how much more proof do you want in that pudding? Okay, because it's getting pretty thick in there. Okay, you know, so and the other thing is, you know, when people talk about future proofing, they're talking about, oh, but there's all these other technologies are coming and everything. You know, one of the things that I like is that the thing that's going to replace Epic is going to be improved Epic. You know, whatever technology out there that doesn't suck, we're flexible enough to subsume it. We can absorb it. I mean, oh yeah, you know, did you hear about this new algo that doesn't suck and it's really low power consuming and it's this amazing new proof of work thing? Really, tell me more about it, because guess what? I'm going to slot that into our, you know, into our ecosystem. Okay, if it doesn't suck, we will use it. Okay, that's it. I mean, we're that flexible. We're like the Borg of crypto. There's a Star Trek reference.
Go ahead, next.
Yeah, and here's the other part that it's funny. The waves of sentiment at 1 cent and 5 cents and 50 and $1 and now $5. It's like history doesn't rhyme or repeat, but it often rhymes, and we're having these same conversations. You can never get anywhere. A big centralized exchange, and so therefore the fact that you're only on a single DEX today means you will never get there. Well, wait, like what is preventing us from getting on a big centralized exchange? Nothing. Oh, okay. Well, you know, at some point we will get there when it suits us, and now we are. And so we've chosen to run the first 2 years worth of laps in this NASCAR race with no funding and no resources at all. Like what boxer comes into the ring and goes, yeah, like I'm just gonna like sit here and let the guy, punch me. I'm not gonna like put up my guard. I'm just gonna like chill here. We had to do what we had to do for regulatory reasons, but now there's over a dozen companies, like actual companies, that are formed specifically to use the business advantages that the Epic network, as it currently is, much less the capabilities we're building, gives them to compete in their business. It's not as if like there was a central fund or pot of money or brain trust or team or any of that that was responsible for that. That just happened. The people on this call are involved in some of those things. They're working with other people in other teams and in other chains and communities to make those things happen. Yoga moved here to Miami. Mike Momola is coming. People are losing their entanglements as far as their 9-to-5 or a small business that isn't worth the headache anymore. There's enough potential here for people to see, wow, 2022 can really be the year that I achieve my dreams. And the only thing standing in the way of that happening is my belief that it can't happen. And then once that light bulb goes off, it's magical and magnetic. But there's a lot of fear and despondency and reasons to be scared and, oh my God, the worst is yet to come. Well, over here, life is great and it's getting better. So, if you shape up with that poor attitude, come over here and grab an oar and let's work together. And so I really think we have what it takes to not just make it to the top, but make it in a way where we keep our values. What's the word I'm looking for? Staying power. Like we could have cut corners all this time, and we always took the high road on everything, even stuff like, oh, February, you had a hack, but you should pay us anyway with your governance token so we could go dump it. We're not just muting and silencing those people. We're saying, come over here to the governance channel, come to the iron sharpens iron channel. Can we do this? Can we do that? Let's talk about the IOUs. I mean, like, I think, overall, we probably got, a solid A-, and in certain places we could have done a better job. But in a lot of ways, we did a great job. And increasingly, I think, the script is being flipped from FUD to FOMO because we do have something good.
Well, you know what? I remember you and Yoga used to admonish me when we were like at 50 cents, and then we dipped down to like 32 cents, and it was like, for me, I was like, I went all in, and you were hand waving me and stuff. And then over the last 6 months, I've brought people in at different price levels, and they experience the same thing, to where it goes down. And then it's like, they're calling me, and it's like, now I'm hand waving them, because it's like, it's crypto. But now when you look at it, we're after everything, I don't even know what we are today, but it's like, $5 is probably where it's going to settle. I don't know, but it's like, we're going to be having these same conversations when it dips from $20 down to $13. Oh no. Right. And when it's $100 and it dips down to 72, am I right? Or am I right?
Well, here's a data point for you. So in January or in December of 2017, BTC briefly peaked at 19,900 intraday. And in March of 2019, it was $3,000. Mm-hmm. So an asset that had been around for a decade and compounded all those gazillions of percent was still down 85% a decade on. And so nobody should be unrealistic. There's that old meme, which is a bit insensitive. If you can't handle my 50% drops, you don't deserve my 20x gains, or whatever it is. But right. That's really kind of what it's all about. Like if you're a retiree and you're on a fixed income and you have 3 years to live or something like that, then maybe you're going to play it a little differently than a teenager. The math is straightforward. If you had your $1,200 stimulus and you bought Epic, you now have $1 million. I don't know anybody that even if they were doing the like Robin Hood day trader or go and buy a hot dog cart and they open up a small business or, you know, like name any opportunity, certainly legal, ethical, honest, and, you know, above board one where you can have $1,200 turn into $1 million. And that's just the start. But that's what this is designed to do. And the fact that it has done it, I mean, September 2019 till now, that's what, like 2.5 years? That's like 25 years in the normal economy. The time scale of crypto is super compressed. And because of our structure, like I would encourage people to go to CoinMarketCap, find some promising asset, and then do the deep homework and find out why it's promising, why it's worth 1.2 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. And then go, can Epic do that? And if Epic can't do that, can any of the other complementary assets that are coming, can they do that? And if they can, then can they do it slower, more expensive, or faster, cheaper, better? Is it you have to bridge from one to another and pay the gas and do 3 different wallets and configure and reinstall and it's frustrating? Or is it one seamless thing and it just works? And so if you go through that exercise, I want to say inevitably, over time, I think it will become inevitably, but historically it's just been predominantly that people start with a toe in the water. I'm going to throw in $5. I'm going to stick an old graphic card in it. I'm not using this laptop for watching videos right now, so I'm going to turn it to a miner, whatever. And then, oh, wow, okay, this is really something. I mean, I have people pinging me now that I told years ago, and I'm like, you weren't listening when it was a speck of dust, but now $5, it's interesting for you. Okay, well,
yeah,
you know, I don't know why I wasn't able to get through to you earlier. I'm sorry that that was the case, but I'm glad you're here now. Let's let's do it. And so anything that exists in crypto, if it's tech, we can take it and we will. If it's a concept, like something like protocol owned liquidity or seigniorage shares or elastic rebase or any of those things, if it's a concept or a technique, we can reverse engineer it and redeploy. If the code is a straight drop, like a grin, then we'll do that with minor tinkering. If not, we've got the chops to build it ourselves. And then really just we can focus on interface, making things easier, ecosystem, the financial arrangements behind, like the accelerator and the guild system, ECRG, all this good stuff that is going to start dropping here. You know, we don't have to be everything to everyone. We just have to be good enough to be relevant to a few more people than we are today. If I tell one person and you tell one person and they tell one person, then before you know it, we're ubiquitous. And because we've got that that potential, the Epic and Epicenter will be as good of an opportunity for people that come in 5 years from now, as it is today. I mean, it'll be different on the ground in terms of the reality competitively in their chosen field, but the opportunity will still be open to everyone. And that's not the same as other networks. In BTC, 2% of accounts own 95% of coins. In a proof of stake system, if you don't already have stake, you can't earn more of the asset. Good luck getting inside if you're not already inside. It's a plutocracy by design, baked in through the technology kind of concept. What were you going to say, Yoga? I think you wanted to get in a word edgewise.
No, man. I'm one of those obnoxious people that if I want to get a word in edgewise, I just jump right in and just yap.
I have a newbie question. I have a newbie question. So when you miners are out there trying to crack the
miners.
Code.
Oh my God, that sounds so elitist. You miners. Okay, yes, no, us in the mines.
I didn't say you miners. I said when miners go in and try to crack the equation, right? Who in the hell created the equation in the first place?
That's the blockchain. That's the rules of the blockchain. So whatever, you know, in our case, you know, we're using 3 algos. So you have random X, you have ProgPow, and then you have Cuckoo. and each one of those algos is essentially waiting for your mining rig to scream out the right answer. You're guessing numbers, or you're solving proof of work problems actually more accurately, and that's all it is. And by the way, it's not like I appreciate the way you look at it. Like, you make miners sound like these super deep cerebral individuals who are sitting there solving these massive equations. It's a lot more simple and boring than that. You basically have a system that's just sitting there hammering on the blockchain, trying to guess. It's like playing a game of like heads or tails, plus you're getting some proof of work done.
So this is what confuses me. Somebody
let me
create place.
Yeah, I have it. I had to duck go it, but I have it up right now.
Okay.
It's fascinating. We have the time here today. Usually the weekly shows are so crammed.
Yeah.
So on the Trail of Bits blog, which did the audit for RandomX, that applies not just to Monero, they deployed it in November of 2019 as their only algo, and it's the only one they still use. We beat them to market by about 2 months, and it's only one of 3 algos. So we get some additional advantage there.
Mad street cred. Okay, I'm sorry. As an ex-Monero guy, I'm gonna take that freaking street cred right there. Okay, that's badass.
Epic, 2 months is a long time, especially while we were juggling a lot of plates back then.
That's right. And Monero was doing this whole drama llama thing, to do it or not to do it, even though they knew that it was an inevitability. It took them longer to implement it. Yep. So anyway, sorry.
And so ASIC resistance, if you came into crypto, let's say 13 to 17, ASIC resistance was on the tip of everyone's tongues. And what does that mean? So with Bitcoin Core and BSV and BCH, those are code forks. And so they use the same single algo as BTC does. The way that you get more SHA-256 hashes is there's nothing preventing the laptop that I'm reading this blog on from doing that computation. It's just that a specialized chip that does nothing but that can do it something like 1 million times faster or something. And so you could have 1 million laptops, and I have like 10 of these in my little farm, and I'm going to get all the blocks. And so you're not even going to bother to plug in the network. That's the reality that emerged over time and has resulted in a lot of centralization and unintended consequences for that ecosystem to deal with. And so RandomX is CPU targeted. And what that means is, if you try to plug in a GPU, it won't run as well. You can do it, but the advantage is against you. The way the algorithm is designed, and I've got it up here, a data structure called the cache is created using Argon 2D with the input key K, blah, 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 blah. I mean, this stuff will melt your head in the first 2 paragraphs. I don't even want to read the rest. But the long and short of it is that it essentially runs, it makes the calculation run a little relay race in a certain way around the different components of the CPU in a different way than ProgPow does, which is GPU targeted, and it uses the same concept. So what you're trying to do is have a single calculation run a full length loop and go the entire surface area of the silicon. That's the term of art that they use. I went to a number of mining conferences to really get into the weeds and understand the detailed mechanics of the ASIC industry, and learned a lot. So essentially with RandomX, you can make an ASIC to do it faster, but instead of getting 1 million X advantage, maybe you get 30% or 15% or something that wouldn't nearly be enough to justify $100 billion of investment to make back 300 million or something.
And the other component of RandomX that makes it a little bit harder, most ASICs, I mean, the ASIC approach generally is a relatively low memory. So when you're emulating a graphic card, if you look at it, is comprised of tons of little cores, whereas a processor actually has a lot less cores, but they're much more robust. They have, things like level 3 cache memory. and things like that. So it's harder to actually do random X because the way CPU works, because of its peculiarities and the amount of memory that it requires. So yeah, there you go.
Okay, so now let's use this as an educational opportunity. So more miners, talk about how more miners means more security for the network, how that's so critical.
Max, do you want to take this? Do you want me to take it?
Why don't you handle that?
Okay. So basically the network consensus runs sort of by majority, right? If majority agrees, then it becomes the law. I mean, that's kind of the whole 51% attack thing is how that works. In case of Bitcoin, you know, they've gotten robust over time and they were able to stay below 51% attacks. BSV, I believe it was, or, you know, one of the copy and paste of Bitcoin with slight tweaks wasn't so successful. And some of the other smaller networks have been overrun by 51%, where essentially somebody takes controlling interest of the network and is able to force their own rules. So let's say you're an unscrupulous miner, hypothetically, and you say that in your account you have not one epic, but let's say 1 trillion epics. And the network is going to say, well, you're full of shit, so it doesn't really matter what you think you have one epic. If somebody manages to, because systems check with other systems, and that's the nature of proof of work on a blockchain. If somebody manages to take over that control, they can actually say, well, no, actually you do have 1 trillion, okay? And so to harden our network against 51% attacks, one of the things that Epic does that's pretty cool is this 3 algos.
Yeah.
So for somebody to kind of hijack us, they would have to actually take control of all 3 algos, which makes things, and actually hold that control. And the algos rotate all the time. So that makes things a little bit more difficult, actually, considerably more difficult, you know. So, and that's just one approach. And we're going to introduce more miners, more decentralization, and you know, that gives us more robustness, more anonymity set also, because again, you get lost in a bigger crowd kind of thing, and mobile mining in that regard, because it's true mining. It's not a drip, or it's not like a redistribution or a proof of stake, you know, that some mobile mining, well, they call themselves mobile mining, but they're not really. What we're talking about is actually running full nodes on your phone, you know, so the node is actually validating transactions. It's, you know, it decentralizes the network. Well, because our blockchain is so light, you're actually able to do that. You can't do that on a you know, on Bitcoin, because you don't have a phone that has 350 gigs or 380 gigs, whatever their blockchain is up to right now.
Right.
You know, to actually store it.
Sorry to interject, but this is actually so important, because you asked your question, Uncle V, about the security of the network, but there's also the issue of the security for you. It's great if Bank of America has a very secure system, and when somebody uses your card to go on a shopping spree, that you can call them and get the fraud reimbursed. But it'd be better if you didn't have to do that in the first place. And so there's just certain unavoidable problems that come with systems where you don't do it the Epic way, which is that you have the entire state of the system on your local device. That's what running a full node is. And when you want to do a transaction, or you want to check like whether, you know, who has what money in the network, should I take this payment? Can I do this DeFi contract, whatever, all that stuff, you're running the computation locally, you're signing it locally. If you've got any security issues, those are localized to you, not others. Solana can go down the entire network. Like when their nodes overload, the whole thing just stops for everyone. And then the engineers go to work and they fix it. Ethereum is more decentralized, at least today, but there's a company called Infura that runs most of the nodes. And so when they have a hiccup, then Ethereum for most users goes down. And so you have this like a mechanical Turk kind of thing, where you have, wow, look at all this great decentralization, but ignore those centralized parts under the hood.
Right.
Everybody has centralized parts. We do too, but you know, we're starting off in a better place. and we're committed to reducing those even further, because when you run the transaction on your local device, your computer is validating that everything adds up. Anytime you're farming that out to anyone, well, Gmail sends me this email and they're saying that my friend Johnny said this, but what if they manipulated it in some way? How am I going to know? In the case of, or they're showing me a video, but it's a deep fake, and they're saying up is down and black is white. Like we've always been at war with East Asia. That cannot happen in a design where the computation runs locally. And so that is the type of thing that perhaps will be years before we get credit for, if ever. But our systems by design are not vulnerable to entire classes of problems and outages and flaws that that other networks don't have.
Wow.
Sorry, Yoga, back to you.
What is a mining pool?
So mining pool is because as the difficulty gets more and more substantial, or if people have older, kind of lower end processors, lower end graphic cards, and they cannot solve a block by themselves, people kind of band together into these cooperative collectives, and they pull their hash rate together. So it's like you have a Voltron kind of a thing, for anybody nerdy and old enough, it's like you have these small building blocks that come together to build something, bigger and more powerful. And you have this collective mining pool that then distributes. It has, has a greater chance of finding a block. And then once the block is found, the mining pool redistributes based on people's contributions. How many shares did you contribute towards solving it? And that was one of the things in the early days of Bitcoin, that became a necessity because the difficulty started, climbing so much that people, there was no chance for people to solve a block and get the, the magical, pile of Bitcoins. So you join a mining pool and you get a fraction of it based on how much you contributed. But that's pretty much it. Got it.
Hey, I had a good question that's relevant in the chat. So with ECR, is that going to be weighted? I mean, does like one ECR get you a vote at the table, or if you had 100 ECR, do you have more votes? Is it weighted at all, or how does that work?
Yeah, if you have 100, you have 100 times the say of if you have one.
Yep.
Okay.
More is better.
Okay, more is better. Okay, that's cool. And Ryan just has the question. So miners aren't nerds, Yoga?
I didn't say that.
No, somebody said it. So miners aren't nerds, Ryan asked.
No, I don't think I ever said that. But
you didn't.
No, I carried the badge of honor of being a nerd before it was cool from the 80s. So so yeah, all right.
This is great. All right, let me check something out. I was just seeing if there were any other questions that were I do want to share something. If for those of you probably missed it, I just want to show you this. And this is Crypto Class. If you took a picture of that, she made the opening. Spent a lot of time on the opening video, the countdown video. And I just wanted to put that up there. If anybody, this is all volunteer work. This is just people coming in and not being asked, but they just deliver. And it was just such an amazing video that she did. So I wanted to share that with you, and maybe some of y'all might be able to send a epic or two. So there we go.
The problem with that is folks can't really, not everybody knows how to just get that information from that, scan. And what I recommend to everyone, not to plug epicfundme.com, but I really recommend folks create accounts on epicfundme.com. It's a better way to tell a story. You link it to your YouTube videos, you link it to your content, you get to, state your case, and people really send a ton of epic to people that represent their case as well. So
A-
anyway,
abs-
just a
absolutely.
recommendation.
And that's epicfundme.com. And I will also include crypto classes Vite address in the show notes once this renders. So
Cool. And I'm gonna have to bow out here at some point
Yeah.
because it is Christmas Day and I am
Absolutely.
spending time with the family like I recommend everybody else do.
Yeah. So thank you for saying that, because I was going to recommend that. We've gone at it about 2.5 hours, and I know I said noon to 3, but I'm getting kind of hungry.
Yes,
And so let's just go ahead and wrap this up. Guys, it's and gals, it's been an amazing 2021. Love this community, and I can't wait to see next year at this time. I mean, my gosh, Max, I mean, you said all the time of how many crypto years are in a month. I mean, it's just crazy. But a year from now, it's really going to be fun to look back on this first Christmas celebration and just see everything that has happened since. I think it's going to blow everybody's minds. Right. So, and Becky, thank you for upgrading the screen and having your face on it and that beautiful hat. Thank you. You know, I had to wear the Buccaneers Tom Brady jersey just to get some positive vibes going so they don't suck like they did last weekend. But everybody in the chat, thank you for coming.
Merry Christmas, folks.
And for those of you who were going to come at 2:30 to 3, sorry, but we tapped out. All right, guys. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you, next year. No, it'll be before that. But all right, go spend time with your family. Cheers.